Okay, so hello students, how are you all doing? Students, welcome to chapter 4, unit 2. The last class we had covered was chapter 4, unit 1. Now this chapter 4, unit 2 is a very small topic. So some areas, and unit 3 is very large. So today's class goal will be that first we will focus and target unit 2, and then some areas of unit 3 also we will cover today, so that in our next class when we have a little pressure of covering unit 3 up. Okay. So having said that, students, let's start our discussion for the day. Okay. The name of the topic is price determination and market structures. Students, we have studied two concepts. One is demand and one is supply. There are certain factors affecting demand, like own price of the commodity, price of related commodities, income of the consumer, consumer tastes and preferences, and so many other points. These are the factors affecting demand. Similarly, there are some factors which affect supply. For example, own price of the commodity again, cost of production of commodity, government taxes and subsidies, technological progress of the country. All these are factors affecting supply. I had told you all that whenever, I repeat, whenever in a market or in an economy you see that price affecting demand or own price affecting supply, we call it the concept of movement or change in quantity demanded or supplied. Okay, we call it movement. But the change in demand due to so many other factors or change in supply due to so many other factors, apart from own price. What did I say? Apart from own price. What did I say? Apart from own price. When you talk about that, or when you talk from that perspective, then you call shift. That you call shift. So if it is because of own price, one will call it movement. And if it is because of factors other than own price, we call it shift. Due to own price, movement. Due to other reasons, shift. That's it. Students, did you understand this much? Yes or no, everyone? Right, sir. Everybody, it seems to agree with the same. And that is what is written here. Movement takes place due to own price, and shift takes place due to other reasons, non-price factors. You see, non-price factors like change in income, tastes, price of related goods, etc. All these cause shift. So now what, sir? Now what, sir? Everyone pay attention. Now the thing is, students, let me draw a equilibrium graph for you. Though this chapter is on graph and graph drawing does not come in your exam, but you wouldn't be able to solve questions if you don't understand. So even if you don't draw the graph along with me, it's okay, no problem. But at least try and understand what sir is telling. Okay, see. Try and understand, everybody. Here, I draw a demand curve. Here, I draw a supply curve. So let me write a demand curve D here and supply curve S here. Where are these two intersecting? They are intersecting here. So if I were to draw a line like this, there would be equilibrium price and there would be equilibrium quantity. This will reflect quantity. This will reflect price. This will reflect price. Okay. So you have price and you have quantity. Here it is price and here you have quantity. One side you have demand and the other side you have supply. So this gives you equilibrium price and this gives you equilibrium quantity. Understood, sir? Now, students, how do you operate? Remember, this is how equilibrium is arrived at. This point that you see here, we call it as an equilibrium point. Okay. And this price that you see here, we call it the equilibrium price. And the quantity that you see here, friends, is equilibrium quantity. Okay. That is equilibrium quantity. Now, everyone, Having understood this much, having said this much, we can proceed with our discussion. अब हम लोग आगे बातें कर सकते हैं. Students, these are demand, supply, and all these jamborics. What I'm saying is, imagine what will happen if you shift from this equilibrium. अगर ये इक्विलिब्रियम नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा? लेट्स अज्यूम, लेट्स से दिस इज नॉट द मार्केट प्राइस. Let's say this is not the market price. What did I just say? Let's say that this is not the market price. Okay, this one that I have marked, this is not the market price. Okay, so what I'm suggesting you is, let's consider this as the market price, that is above PE. Above PE, let's consider it to be above PE. Okay, students, let's consider it to be above PE. So P1 is the market price, is what I'm saying. P1 is the market price, is what I'm saying. Now, students, what I tell you all is, if P1 is the market price, what will happen at this price? You see, at this price, you see, price is above the equilibrium price. So clearly you can see that at this level, demand is here, because the demand curve is intersected by the price line at this point, while the supply is here. So there is excess supply in the market. What is it? This is called excess supply in the market. Institute may give you a graph like this and tell you, what does this point indicate? What does this distance indicate? Let's say they will write AB and they may ask you, what does AB indicate? They may write excess demand, excess supply, deficient demand, deficient supply. So you should have the knowledge of excess supply if the price is above. And students, you all tell me with common sense, applying common sense, you tell me, students, if there is excess supply in the market, what do you think producers will do? अगर मार्केट में एक्सेस सप्लाई है किसी चीज का, आपको क्या लगता है प्रोड्यूसर को क्या करना चाहिए उस मोमेंट पे टू सेल ऑफ दैट एक्सेस सप्लाई? आई एम वेटिंग इन द चैट बॉक्स एवरीवन. आई एम लुकिंग एट द चैट बॉक्स. लेट्स सी क्या होगा. आप लोग क्या बताते हो? लेट्स सी. When there is excess supply in the market, what will happen, students? Tell me. Correct. So you are correct, students, that sir, whenever there is excess supply, as a producer, what will you do? You will reduce price to sell that extra products. So price will reduce and come back to equilibrium. This is what I was trying to say. It is in the nature of equilibrium to restore itself. Always equilibrium will be restored. That is the uniform and universal rule. Let's say you might say that, what if, sir, that the price that you charge is below the equilibrium price? Tell us what will happen then. Okay. Let's take you to P2 then, dear students. Students, at P2 price, look what is happening. At P2 price, look what is happening. See, everyone, let's mark it as EF. Okay. Sorry, FG. This is F, this is G. Now, if you all witness it closely, the demand is on the righter side and the supply is the earlier part. So in economy, you see it is a situation of excess demand. You see it is a situation of excess demand. In the economy, you see there is a situation of excess demand. Whenever there is excess demand in the economy, what do the producers do? They cannot increase the supply, so they increase the price, so that only people who are able to pay can afford the commodity, can buy the commodity. Others are eliminated straight away. That's what is the logic of excess demand. That's what is the logic of excess demand, everyone. Come on, students, do you understand this much? Yes or no? So always the equilibrium point will be restored. Always the equilibrium point will be restored. Now, when we talk about shift, let me show you the different graphs possible. Try and understand. This chapter is primarily, this unit is primarily graph based. So I will have to draw the graphs. Okay. See. Graph 1, 2, let's say 3 and 4. This is good enough to explain everything. Students, just pay attention and see Let this be the demand curve. Let this be the supply curve. Original demand and original supply. Let this be the original demand and original supply. Okay. Let this be the original demand and original supply. And let this be the original demand and original supply. Now, students, I have a question that I need to ask you all. Here I write price. Here I write quantity. Here again I write price, quantity. Okay. This is demand. This is supply. This is demand. This is supply. Everyone, this is demand. This is supply. This is demand. This is supply. And everywhere we can write price, quantity, price, and quantity. Everywhere I have written the same. Now, students, what I tell you all is, that pay attention, guys. Pay attention, everyone. This is the equilibrium price and this is the equilibrium quantity. Okay. This is the equilibrium price and this is the equilibrium quantity. Hold on, everyone. This is the equilibrium price and this is the equilibrium quantity. This is the equilibrium price and this is the equilibrium quantity. That's all right, sir. So, sir, what are you wanting to tell us? Ab sunna. Class, ab sunna. Everyone pay attention. Class, everyone pay attention. Now, when I say that there is an increase in demand, pay attention. When I say there is an increase in demand means a rightward shift. 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 Okay. Increase in demand means a rightward shift. And if there is a decrease in demand, we call it a leftward shift. If there is an increase in demand, we call it a rightward shift. If there is a decrease in demand, we call it a leftward shift. Wait. If there is a increase in supply, class, if there is an increase in supply, we call it a rightward shift. And if there is a decrease in supply, wait. If there is a decrease in supply, we call it a leftward shift. This is what I wanted to reflect you all. Pay attention, everyone. So, in case of increase in demand, we have rightward shift of demand curve. In case of decrease in demand, we have leftward shift of demand curve. In case of increase in supply, we have rightward shift of supply curve. And in case of decrease in supply, we have leftward shift of supply curve, is what I am trying to convey. Is that understood? Yes, sir. But students, just tell me something. If there is a change in demand or supply, like in this case, there is a rise in demand. Like in this case, there is a decrease in demand. If there is a increase in supply, or here there is a decrease in supply, just tell me, जो original equilibrium price and quantity हुआ करती थी, whatever was the original equilibrium price and original quantity, will it remain intact or will it change? Whatever is the original equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, I repeat my statement, whatever is the original equilibrium price and original equilibrium quantity, will it remain intact or will it change? Sir, naturally, if there is a new demand curve or a new supply curve, naturally we will have a new equilibrium price and a new equilibrium quantity as well. If there is a new demand curve and new supply curve, then naturally there would be a new equilibrium price and new equilibrium quantity as well. Understood, sir? Sir, we have understood it, sir. Sir, we have understood this, sir. Okay. So let's go ahead, everyone. Let's go ahead, everyone. Now see, everybody. Students, pay attention, So demand has moved to D1, right? Demand has moved to D1 now. Now pay attention, everyone. Now pay attention. Guys, kindly pay attention, Okay. Students, the new demand curve D1 and the new supply curve S are intersecting at what point? They are intersecting at this point. So you can clearly see there is a rise in equilibrium price and there is a rise in equilibrium quantity. That's what I wanted to explain. So there is a rise in equilibrium price and there is a rise in equilibrium quantity if there is increase in demand. Look, again, look. Now, where is the new demand curve here and this supply curve here? They are intersecting at this point, this point. So there is a fall in equilibrium price and fall in equilibrium quantity if there is a decrease in demand. Acha. Again, now look. Again, look, when there is an increase in supply, intersection is taking place. At what point? Intersection is taking place at this point. That is the new supply curve and the same demand curve. So there is increase in equilibrium quantity and there is decrease in equilibrium price. There is decrease in equilibrium price and increase in equilibrium quantity. And if you see the new black and red line, that is the new supply curve S1 and the demand curve D, then there is a fall in equilibrium quantity and rise in equilibrium price. There is a fall in equilibrium quantity and rise in equilibrium price. That is all we see. That is all we see, everyone. That is all we see. I am 100% sure, students, you have understood this. Come on, everyone, yes or no? ठीक है. But sir, why is it relevant? That is what we are coming to next. Now, what kind of questions can come from here? And they have come. At least 2 marks to 3 marks from this unit institute has given. 2 marks, so I am sure I have seen over the years. Okay? Look, everyone look now. Look, have a look. See. What questions institute will ask is, question number 1. What will be the effect on, let me take you to the page where there are adequate spaces, right? Yes. So what institute can ask you is that, okay, do one thing, tell us what will be the impact on a brand or a company adopting modern technology on the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Did you hear the question? नई इक्विलिब्रियम प्राइस और इक्विलिब्रियम क्वांटिटी पे क्या इंपैक्ट आएगा अगर कंपनी एक नई टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट करती है. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, always remember to think without graphs and with graphs. I will teach you both the things, don't worry. But first, with graph, draw the demand curve, draw the supply curve. Here is demand, here is supply. Draw the original, just a minute. Okay. Draw the original equilibrium price and quantity. Think, think. I am teaching you how to think here. What did I just say? Company has adopted a modern technology. So what will be the effect on equilibrium price and quantity? This is the old one. Always start from the old one. When you start thinking, always start thinking from the old one. That's not a big deal. Always start thinking from the old one. Now what I'm telling you all is, the company has decided that the company is going to adopt modern technology, new technology as we call it. So they are asking us, what will be the effect on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? Students, since the company has adopted modern technology, the supply will naturally rise. The supply will naturally rise. So you see, the supply has risen. Due to modern technology, the supply has risen because it does not affect demand. So here you should have good knowledge of factors affecting demand and supply, right? सभी का knowledge आपके पास होना चाहिए, to be honest, right? So if you see from that perspective, you see there is a rightward shift of supply curve. You see there is a rightward shift of supply curve because there is an improvement in technology. So the demand curve and the new supply curve, where do they intersect? They intersect here. So if you draw the graph and complete it, you will see equilibrium price has fallen and equilibrium quantity has risen. So our answer will be, we will tell the teacher ki, okay teacher, equilibrium price is going to fall because of increase in supply and the equilibrium quantity is going to rise because of improvement in technology. That's how you think with the graphs. I can arrive at the answer even without graphs. That I will do. But first with graph, try to understand. Okay. Let's, translate it to some other example, okay, or translate it to some other version of the thing. Okay, so I've thought of it now without graph. Okay, without graph. See, technology has improved, supply will rise. So on an average, if quantity is rising, see, demand is not changing, quantity is supplied is rising. So naturally, on an average, equilibrium will rise. So done. Now, there is an interesting concept. See, keep your hand here, like you do in BRS in accounts, right? This is demand, everyone. This is demand. And this is supply, everyone. This is supply. So I keep both here. Demand and supply, demand and supply, demand and supply. Now, everyone, what is happening is, pay attention, guys. This is demand, this is supply. This is demand, this is supply. Both are equal. Now, demand remains same, supply has risen. Demand remains same, supply has risen. Demand remains same, supply has risen. So when supply has risen, when demand remains same and supply has risen, what is happening? What do you observe? When demand remains same and supply rises, when demand remains same and supply rises, there is excess supply in the economy, because you see supply is above demand. So there is excess supply. Whenever there is excess supply, producers will reduce the price to sell off the stock. See, that is why price reduces. This is exactly the conclusion I came through. Without graphs also we can think. So don't say that only graphs के साथ ये सब questions हो जाएंगे. Even without graphs that is possible. Now we understood, sir. Let's give you a question, right? Let's give you a question, right? Okay. Okay. My question to you is, ठीक है? Government MCQ question. You can note it down with me if you want to. You can note it down with me. Government increases direct taxes. Government increases direct taxes. What will be the impact on equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price? What will be the impact on equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price? Okay. So students, the questions are: equilibrium price falls, equilibrium quantity rises. Number 2 is equilibrium price rises, equilibrium quantity rises. Number 3 is, option C is equilibrium price also falls, equilibrium quantity also falls, right? And fourth is both are rising. Both are rising. Okay, both are rising. Achha, both are rising I have given. So let's give it equilibrium price rises this time and equilibrium quantity falls. So 4 options I have given you all. I will read out the question so that you can note it down. Government increases direct taxes. What will be the impact on equilibrium quantity and equilibrium price? Here are your 4 options, everyone. So let's think this through and tell me what will be your appropriate answer, everyone. Tell me. I'm waiting in the chat, students. Okay. Okay. So people have been able to, confirm whether they've understood everything, right? Now let's go ahead, students. Let's go ahead, everyone. So this is done. See, government increases direct taxes. Here is the secret trap I have set for you. Direct taxes means income tax. So students, common sense dictates that if income tax rises, then the consumer's disposable income means the income that they can afford to spend on goods and services will fall, because a portion of it taken by the government has increased. So therefore, disposable income goes down. Now, if disposable income goes down, everyone. Now, if disposable income goes down, everyone, what happens is, look here, everyone. I will show it with graphs and then we will think it without graphs as well, as always. Look, have a look, everyone. So here you have, students, here you have your price, quantity. Okay. This is demand and this is supply. Okay. This is demand and this is supply. This is where the intersection is taking place. This is the equilibrium point, and these are the equilibrium prices and equilibrium quantities respectively. Okay, sir. So not a big deal. Now we will tell you something. I will tell you something. Look, government increases direct taxes. So people's income has fallen. If income falls, demand falls. If income falls, demand falls. If income falls, demand falls. So students, as I told you, if income falls, demand falls. Meaning what? Meaning what? So if income has fallen, the demand has fallen. So what has happened is, here it becomes like this. Here it becomes like this. So if income falls, demand falls. Understood? When this happens, students, the intersection takes place here. The intersection takes place here. So you have this and this. So equilibrium quantity has fallen and equilibrium price has fallen. Equilibrium quantity has fallen and equilibrium price has fallen. So equilibrium quantity has fallen and equilibrium price has fallen. Can you see it here? Yes, sir, we can indeed see it here. So the answer is both fall. Correct answer is option 3. Equilibrium price will fall and quantity will fall as well. That is the correct answer, students. That is the correct answer, everyone. Did you understand? Yes or no? Very, very good. Very, very good, everyone. Is it clear? Should I remove this? Yes or no? Yes. I'm waiting for your confirmation, everyone. Done. Now let's think it through without the use of graph. See, government increases direct taxes. As usual, I will repeat the same thing. Students, if government is increasing the direct taxes, students, if government is increasing the direct taxes, naturally the disposable income of the people are falling. If the disposable income of the people is falling, if the disposable income of the people is falling, naturally the demand will fall. Supply remains same, demand fall. So on an average, quantity is falling. So you know that equilibrium quantity is going to go down because one of demand and supply is constant and the other is going down. Think of the price. Again, your hands here. Demand and supply. Demand and supply. Now what has happened is the demand has fallen. Demand has fallen. Demand has fallen. Demand has fallen. Supply remains up. So there is excess supply. Excess supply leads to reduction in prices. I have taught you today. So equilibrium price will also fall. This is a quicker method, but then I'm explaining you both. So whoever is comfortable with whatever can, do. Now I will not give you next MCQ. I will not practice with you next MCQ until everyone confirms in the chat box where it is for everyone. Where it is for everyone. Confirm there. Everybody, I'm waiting now. Come on. I'm waiting now. In the chat box, everyone, I'm waiting, students. Responses are slow. Is it clear, everyone? Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Very good. I can see some responses, but I'm waiting for everyone now. Everyone will confirm, then only I will proceed. Or else you can also take rest. I will also take rest. Done, sir. So students, having done this much, we can now proceed with our next question. All right, let's go, everybody. The next question is a rather simple one. Look, government increases indirect tax. Look at the question carefully. Government increases indirect tax. Discuss the impact on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Discuss the impact on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Come on. Okay, you want options? All right, I'll give you options. No worries. Hmm. Equilibrium quantity falls and equilibrium price rises. Option 2 is equilibrium quantity rises, equilibrium price falls. Option 3 is both rise. Option 4 is both fall. Look, I have given you that also. Come on, everyone. Let's go, everyone. So yes, everyone, now I will answer you. See, if government increases indirect tax, discuss the impact on EP and EQ. Everyone, it's a very simple case. If government has increased indirect taxes, it means GST has increased. Indirect tax example is GST, taxes imposed on goods and services. So GST has increased. It's like a cost of production because other factors are assumed to be constant. So if it's like a cost of production, naturally the profit margins have gone down. And students, if profit margins have gone down, guess what? If profit margins have gone down, guess what? Supply will also go down. So if increases indirect taxes, then supply will go down. If supply goes down and you see demand remains the same, equilibrium quantity is going to fall. That is for sure. So if equilibrium quantity is going to fall, this answer cannot be possible and this answer cannot be possible. Now let's see. Let's take our hands and see demand and supply. Now supply has fallen. Supply has fallen. Everybody, if supply has fallen, I repeat, if supply has fallen, demand hand is up. So there is excess demand. And whenever there is excess demand, prices go up. So this is the correct answer. Do you want to see it using graphs? Of course, I can show it to you. Of course, with the graphs, we can show it to you. Have a look, everybody. Here is price. Here is quantity. Okay. This is demand and this is supply. Everyone, there is demand and there is supply. This is the equilibrium point. Here you have equilibrium price and here you have equilibrium quantity. Now what I'm telling you all is, if government decides to increase indirect taxes, discuss the impact on the two. Now, everyone, if government has decided to increase indirect taxes, naturally the supply will rise or fall. Naturally, the supply will fall. So supply falling means a leftward shift. You see, I have drawn a leftward diagram. So the intersection is taking place at this point. So you see, equilibrium quantity has fallen and equilibrium price has risen. And our answer was accordingly given. Wow. Please copy it down, students. Anyhow you think, you got to be correct about your logics. That's it. See, students, so far I was discussing only one factor changing at a time. It can be that there will be simultaneous changes in both demand and supply. That can also be a case. Let me give you a question to elaborate what I am saying. Okay, just let me give you a question. Okay, let me give you a question. Government increases, government increases, government increases, government increases. Pay attention, everyone. Government increases. Pay attention. Let's say GST on products and income of consumer rises. And income of consumer rises. Discuss impact on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Think, I will not give you any options anymore. What will happen to equilibrium price? Whether it will rise or fall, it will remain same. What will happen? Tell me, students. So students, I will help you out. Pay attention, guys. See, if government increases GST on products, naturally the supply will fall because kind of cost of production has increased. So supply will fall and income of consumer rises. So demand will rise. So what I'm saying is, everyone is, here is price, here is quantity. This is demand and this is supply. This is the equilibrium point. Here you have equilibrium price. Here you have equilibrium quantity. Here you have equilibrium quantity. Okay, everyone. Now what I am telling you all is, they're asking increases GST on products. So I know this, if GST on products increases, just a minute, this is supply. So if GST on product increases, supply will fall. I have shifted the supply curve leftwards. But wait, income of consumer rises. So demand will go up. So demand will go up from D to D1. Demand will go up from D to D1. So you can see the new intersection is taking place here. So this is the equilibrium quantity and here is the equilibrium price. So equilibrium price has risen and equilibrium quantity is going to rise as well. Of course, because if income of consumer rises, now, one interesting thing I would like to say. Here I would like to correct one thing. Just a quick correction, okay? About price, it's okay. Price is going to rise, but about quantity, there is a quick correction I would like to make. Just a minute, students. Yes. See, pay attention, everyone. Supply has fallen, that's okay. Demand has risen, that's great. But students, but students, we have no idea. See, supply has fallen, demand has risen, that's great. But we have no idea whether supply has fallen by greater amount or demand has increased by greater amount. Do we? So about equilibrium quantity, our answer will be we can't say. Institute has given questions like this. But equilibrium price, we are 100% sure that equilibrium price is going to, eventually rise. Equilibrium price is going to rise. So this is what I wanted to teach you, that equilibrium quantity we should write can't say. Now many of you will ask, but sir, क्यों? समझ नहीं आया. I understand. Pay attention. See, demand and supply. Demand and supply. All good? Right, sir. Students, as far as equilibrium price is concerned, we know this is demand and this is supply. Okay. So demand has risen, supply has fallen. So there is a huge excess demand. There is a huge excess demand. So since there is a huge excess demand, equilibrium price is going to rise. We know this correct answer. But guess what? When we judge equilibrium quantity, how do we judge? On an average. Here we cannot judge the average. You know why? Because we know demand is rising for sure. Quantity is falling for sure. Quantity supplied is falling for sure. So on an average, what is happening do we know? Because one is rising, one is falling. If both were rising, equilibrium quantity was rising. If both demand and supply were falling, equilibrium quantity will fall. But if one is rising, one is falling, our answer will be can't say, because we don't know who is changing by a greater proportion. So this is where institute will trick you. Institute has tricked you in the past and institute will trick you. In fact, forget about old attempts. I was looking at the September attempt paper, this latest September 25 paper. There also there was a question. I think it was in the first page. It varies from, which set you got, but that's what I was trying to say. Now we remember, sir. Students, yes or no? Come on, everyone. Yes or no? A good question, isn't it? Right, sir. Let's go. Students, let's go ahead and, see. There is an improvement in production technology, but price of complementary goods are rising. Discuss impact on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Go ahead, everyone. What did I just say? There is an improvement in production technology, but price of complementary goods are rising. Discuss impact on equilibrium price and quantity. Let's go ahead, everyone. Let's go ahead, everyone. So what did I say? There's an improvement in production technology, but price of complementary goods are rising. Discuss impact on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Go ahead, everyone. Tell me. I am not answering. It is your job to answer. What did I say? I'll read it out for you. I will not give you options also. There is an improvement in production technology, right? But price of complementary goods are rising, students. I repeat, there is an improvement in production technology, students, but price of complementary goods are rising. So what will be the impact on equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? Think and answer. So here I will do it for you. No worries, students. See, there is improvement in production technology. Wait. First with graphs and then without graphs. Okay. So see, this is my demand curve, the OG curve, OG demand curve. OG means the original. And this is the original supply curve. Okay. Now everyone, this is the equilibrium price and this is the equilibrium quantity. This is the equilibrium quantity. Here I draw price, here I draw quantity, and here is the equilibrium point. That's okay. That's not a big deal. Now what I'm saying is there's an improvement in production technology. So if there's an improvement in production technology, obviously, supply is going to rise. But price of complementary goods are rising. Students, you all know this. It is a factor affecting demand. That is, if price of complementary good rises, then the demand for complementary falls. So current goods demand will also fall. So there is a fall in demand. There is a naturally fall in demand. Okay. So demand curve shifts left. Students, one thing for sure I know. One thing for sure I know that the new bit, this is the new S1 curve and this is the new D1 curve. So the D1 and S1 curves are intersecting at this point. So we know for sure that equilibrium price is going to fall. But about equilibrium quantity, I have no clues. I have no clues. So we know equilibrium price is going to fall. Quantity, can't say. I will tell you why again. I will tell you why again. See, have a look without graphs now. This is demand curve. This is supply curve. There is this demand curve my left hand and there is this supply curve my right hand. Okay. Demand curve, supply curve. Demand curve is my left hand, supply curve. They're equal. Now, if production technology has improved, so the supply curve was this hand. So supply has improved. But price of complementary goods have increased. So demand has gone down. So there is excess supply. Students, whenever there is excess supply in the market, equilibrium price goes down. Look, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Equilibrium price goes down. But hold on, everyone. If you talk about equilibrium quantity, as I say, see, we cannot say anything. I will tell you why. Because one has increased, one has decreased. So with what rate there is a change? Whether the one increasing has changed by a greater proportion or the one decreasing has decreased by a greater proportion, I have no clues. So for equilibrium quantity, we cannot say. Remember, this can't say wala option arises when one of the demand or one of the supply, one is rising, one is falling. It can be any. In the last sum that I gave, intentionally, you saw supply was falling and demand was rising. In this one, demand is falling and supply is rising. So there is the magic, right? Okay. Now in the institute material, I have made you practice past paper type questions as well. Don't worry. From the unit 2, मैंने आपको past paper के questions भी करा दिए. I will soon move to unit 3, but in institute's material, there is one interesting question which I like solving and which I like discussing. So I would like to participate in the same. Just a moment. Just a moment, everyone. Here it is. Okay. So have a look, everybody. I've taught you everything. Don't worry. This is the question that I was talking to you about. Acha, there's a misprint here. Solution you remove from here. Okay. Solution you remove from here. Okay. In this page number, I will tell you 4.24. Page 4.24. So there is a misprint. Now we will read the question and we will try to see what we are able to understand. ठीक है? चलो इधर ध्यान देना everyone. D1 and S1 are the original demand and supply curves. So here we have D1, here we have S1. These are the original curves. So what is the original equilibrium point? Original equilibrium point is 1. Because you see, D1 and S1 are the original curves. D1 and S1 are the original curves. So we can say 1 is the equilibrium point. Now what do I tell you? D2, D3, S2 and S3 are possible new demand and supply curves. D2, D3, S2, S3 are possible new demand and supply curves. Starting from initial equilibrium point 1, which we discussed, that 1 is the equilibrium, initial equilibrium, right? What point on the graph is most likely to answer 1 to 4? So chalo theek hai, let's go and try to analyze each and every one. But remember, we are going to start from 1. Original supply curve S1 and original, always start from the OG, original condition, and D1 the original condition. So D1 and S1 are the original conditions. Okay, now assume the product we are talking about is a normal good. Chalo theek hai. We have understood that we are talking about a normal product. Okay. Holding everything else constant. Now they are telling us कि सब constant मान लो. Everything else is constant on earth. Holding everything else constant, assume that income rises and price of factor of production also increases. So those two things are rising. What point is most likely to be the new equilibrium price and quantity? I told you this is the question they will ask. See, X is a normal good. If income rises, demand rises. So demand curve will shift from D1 to D2. Thick? Okay. Now, price of factor of production also rises. Oh my God. So the supply is going to fall because input prices have risen. So supply is going to fall. Students, there is going to be a leftward shift of supply curve. Students, there is going to be a leftward shift of supply curve. And you see, I have shifted it to the left. There's a leftward shift to the supply curve. So everyone, if there is a leftward shift to the supply curve and, demand has increased. So where is the intersection taking place? There is an intersection between D2 and there is an intersection between S3. So D2 and S3 are intersecting at what point? D2 and S3 are intersecting at what point? If you see carefully, they are intersecting at 2. So 2 will be my new answer. See, point 2 is the answer. The answer is point 2. They asked where will be the new equilibrium at point 2. We have discussed it. Okay. Always, whenever the part changes, we again arrive at the original condition. Okay, let's move to the next question. We are discussing the market for good Z. Okay, great. The price of a complement good, good Y, declines. Okay. So price of a complementary good has declined. Okay. At the same time, okay, so price of complement good has declined. So demand for Z will rise. So obviously if demand is rising, increasing, I mean, so there is a rightward shift from D1 to D2. There is a rightward shift from D1 to D2. And now at the same time, there is a technological advancement in the production of goods Z. So if we are moving, if we are at S1, then we will shift from S1 to S2. We will shift from S1 to S2. So if that happens, students, D2 and S2 are intersecting at this point. D2 and S2 are intersecting at this point. So 7 is the new equilibrium point, everyone. 7 is the new equilibrium point, everyone. So our answer will be 7. Look, I have written here 0.7. 0.7. Okay, understood, sir. So everybody, having done this much, let's move on to the next one. Heavy rains in Maharashtra during 2005 and 6 caused havoc with the rice crop. So obviously, if there was heavy rain, production will go down, supply will shift left. So from S1, we have shifted left to S3. Not a big deal. But wait, what point is most likely to show? हाँ तो ठीक है. D1 has remained the same. S1 has shifted to S3. So D1 and S3 are intersecting at what point? Point 3. So our answer will be point 3. Point 3. Have a look, everyone. Point 3 is the new answer. Okay. And now, assume that consumers expect the price of new cars to significantly increase next year. Acha, consumers are expecting the price of new cars to significantly increase the next year. So presently they will increase the demand for cars. If the price of new cars will increase next year, so if we are at D1, they will increase the demand for cars because they are expecting the prices of new cars to increase next year. So present demand will rise. So we are at D2 and S1 remains the same. So D2 and S1 are intersecting at 5. So 5 is the new equilibrium point, as I can very well see, and my answer is correct. Students, this discussion, you see, marks the end of our unit 2. Can I move to unit 3 with confidence? Obviously, unit 3 we won't be covering today. We completing today. We will have next class for it. But what I'm saying is that is this much clear, everyone? Are you sure, everybody? Yes or no? Come on, everyone. Just a moment. In the chat box, please. Student, write your opinion in the chat box, please. Okay. I'm waiting for 1 or 2 minutes. Anybody has any questions from here, I will tackle. Write down in the chat. Obviously, in the last 10 to 15 minutes, we will have our student teacher discussion session where students can ask their questions through the audio. But until then, any doubts, I am ready to take that up. I don't see any. Let's go, everyone. Students, if you were to talk to me about this discussion now, market structure overview is what they are saying. See, students, there are 4 kinds of market structures. Students, please pay attention. There are 4 kinds of market structure which we are discussing. Okay. You have your perfect competition. You have monopoly. You have monopolistic competition. And then you have oligopoly. So we have 4 different types of market structures. I will repeat it for you. We have perfect competition. We have monopoly. We have monopolistic competition. And we have oligopoly. So everyone, Now we will discuss one by one. We will start with perfect competition. We will start with perfect competition. Let's attack everyone. Let's attack everyone. So students, if you were to talk about perfect competition, it has certain features. Perfect competition has certain features. Number one, it has a large number of, I say very large number of, not large. I say very large number of buyers and sellers. What do they sell? They sell homogeneous products. They sell homogeneous products, products that are exactly the same, products that are exactly the same, products that are exactly the same. So in perfect competition, there are large number of buyers and sellers selling homogeneous, that is exactly same products. Products are exactly same. Now we are discussing the details of everything. Okay. Now we are discussing. Okay. So perfect competition, we have large number of buyers and sellers. And what do they sell? They sell homogeneous products. What do you mean by homogeneous products, sir? Students, when we say homogeneous products, means the products are exactly the same. Means the products are exactly the same. Everyone, when I say homogeneous products, I mean the products are exactly the same. Products are exactly the same. Got it, everybody? Understood, sir. So students, pay attention, everyone, huh? Perfect competition, what did I just discuss? That there are large number of buyers and sellers. And what do they sell? They sell homogeneous products. What do they sell? They sell homogeneous products. Products which are exactly the same. Products which are exactly the same. 100% same. Okay. So what did I say? Perfect competition means there are a large number of buyers and sellers who are selling homogeneous products. That is the products that are exactly the same. Not 90%, 100% same. Large number of buyers. Acha, by the way, I tell you, in real life, there is no example of perfect competition. But yes, if institute asks you which market closely resembles perfect competition, I have an answer. That is agricultural market, vegetable markets, all these. They closely resemble, but they are not exactly the same. Okay, understood, sir. So we have understood, sir. So what did I just say? That in perfect competition, there are a large number of buyers and sellers who are selling what? Who are selling the products which are exactly the same. When I say exactly the same means 100% same, not 90, 100% same. Got it, sir? So in perfect competition, there are large number of buyers and sellers who are selling what? Homogeneous products. Got it? Now, they have no control over price. They have no control over price. What do I mean when I say they have no control over price? What do I mean when I say they have no control over price? It means, it means that they are price takers. They will take the price. Firms are price takers here. Firms are price takers here. Firms are price takers here, everyone. Got it, everybody? Right, sir. So, in perfect competition, there are large number of buyers and sellers who sell homogeneous products, and firms are price takers. They have no control over price. They have no control over price. What did I say? They have no control over price. It means what? Means the firms are not deciding the price of the product. Who is deciding? Who is the price maker? Market. Who is the price maker? Market is the price maker. How? I will show it to you. Let's say, students, these are different prices and these are demand and supplies. Okay. So when price is rupees 10, demand is 1000 units maybe, and supply is 500 units only, because at lower price producers are not willing to supply in large quantities naturally. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now, students, if price rises, let's say becomes 15 rupees. If price rises, the demand falls and it becomes 800. So the price has increased, the demand has fallen. The price has increased, the demand has fallen. But when price rises, supply also rises. Price rises, supply also rises. I repeat, when price rises, supply also rises. I repeat, when price rises, supply also rises. So from 500, it will become how much? It will become 800. From 500, it will become how much? It will become 800, sir. That's my point. That's my point, everyone. Understood? Now, students, when price rises and becomes rupees 20, students, when price rises and becomes rupees 20, now what happens? When price has risen, demand has fallen down further, but supply has increased further. Naturally, because producers like to supply at higher prices, but consumers like to purchase at lower prices. Agreed? Students, there is a price which market has automatically decided at which demand is becoming equal to supply. If you see carefully, you will see that is happening at a price of rupees 15. And guess what, students? Since that is happening at a price of rupees 15, since that is happening at a price of rupees 15, so 15 is the equilibrium price, 800 is the equilibrium quantity. 15 is the equilibrium price, 800 is the equilibrium quantity. So if institute asks you who is the price maker in a perfect competition, if a firm is a price taker, that is firm takes the price, who makes the price? Now you have your answer. Now you have your answer. Who makes the price? Absolutely correct. Markets make the price. Who makes the price? Markets make the price. Acha. Now we have understood. Now we have understood. Then you have free entry and exit. Now you have free entry and exit. When we talk about free entry and exit, now when we talk about free entry and exit, anybody can enter the market, anybody can exit the market. Free entry and exit means no supplier has been forced to stay in the market. No supplier has been forced or has been prevented from entering the market. It means new sellers are most welcome. Existing sellers, if they want to leave the market, they can leave because there are unlimited number of sellers and buyers. So a single seller or a buyer has no implication, has nothing, has no effect on the market. And then what do we witness? Perfect knowledge of market. What do we witness? Perfect knowledge of market. That means both the sellers and buyers have perfect knowledge of market. So let me explain. So if a single seller wants to reduce the price to sell more, other sellers will also reduce the price because they have perfect knowledge. And now, if one seller says that, okay, I want to make more profits, so why not increase the price? Every buyer will come to know that this seller is overcharging. So no buyer will buy from that seller. This will ensure that price remains same in perfect competition or uniform. Uniform is a better word in economics. Price remains uniform in perfect competition. Students, price remains uniform in perfect competition. Students, what did I say? Price remains what? Uniform in perfect competition. Price remains uniform in perfect competition. Absolutely correct. Price remains uniform in perfect competition. Okay. And now what, students? A very important discussion awaits. Pay attention. Students, in the short run, a perfectly competitive firm may earn abnormal profits, may suffer losses, may earn abnormal profits, or may suffer losses. But in the long run, students, but in the long run, students, but in the long run, students, they earn only normal profits due to free entry and exit. But in the long run, they earn only normal profits due to free entry and exit. but in the long run, they earn only normal profits due to free entry and exit. So in the short run, there might be abnormal profits, losses, anything can be happening. In the long run, there are only normal profits. You all know what is normal, supernormal, and all those things. Which class, sir? In the first class of cost, I had explained you. In the first class of cost. Go and watch it. Okay. So remember this, in short run, a perfectly competitive firm may make abnormal profits, normal profits or losses. All the three are possible. But in long run, only normal profits in perfect competition. I know you are thinking, sir, but why? Sir, why are you saying this? ऐसा आप क्यों बोल रहे हैं sir? Here is my answer to you. Students, the reason is very simple. See, in the long run, the reason they make only normal profit or they earn only normal profit is, in the long run, they earn only normal profit is, pay attention. In the long run, they earn only normal profit is. Why, sir? Because, listen, if in the short run, some firms are making supernormal profits, everyone will see, everyone who is not in that industry will also see this and they will enter the industry. So the extra supernormal profits that was being enjoyed by some firms will be washed away because new entrants have come into the market. But wait, if firms in short run are making losses, some firms will leave the industry. So the sales of the remaining firms will increase. So again, there will be normal profits. So what I'm trying to convey to you all is that in the long run, ultimately, there will only be normal profits. In the long run, ultimately, there will only be normal profits. That's what I'm trying to explain everybody. Has it been understood by you, everyone? Is it clear to you, everyone? Yes or no? A very important area. It is a hub of MCQs, I tell you. Now, students, having understood perfect competition, you all already know the graph of perfect competition. Just saying, the graph goes something like this. So you know this. In perfect competition, by the way, price equals to average revenue equals to marginal revenue. I feel I have told you this before. If not, here it is for you all. Very good, sir. Sir, we are understanding everything, sir. Okay, thank you. Now moving on to monopoly. Monopoly. Students, these types of market exist in reality. For example, as I had told you in the previous class as well, I stay in Calcutta, students. So in Calcutta, CESC supplies electricity. Calcutta Electric Supply Corporation. So CESC has monopoly in Calcutta over electricity supply. Government is not going to give the license to anybody else. That is called monopoly. Can I give you some more example? Indian Railways. For railways, Indian Railway has monopoly. Private players cannot, apart from a nominal or minuscule percentage, they cannot enter the market only. So that's why I say monopoly is a market dominated by a single seller. Dominated by a single seller. Students, monopoly is a market dominated by single seller. So here it is. Single seller dominates the market. Single seller dominates the market. Now everyone, there are no close substitutes for the market. There is no close substitute for the product. There are no close substitutes for the product. Meaning, what Indian Railways is doing or what CESC is doing, can you tell me any close substitute of that? You can't name any. Now you say that, sir, instead of railways, people can travel by aeroplanes. Array, come on. First of all, there is not an airport everywhere. Number one. Number two, at such cheap cost, aeroplane can never take you to long distances. Impossible. The places where trains can take you at 1000 or 1500, aeroplanes charge minimum 5000. Minimum. That is on a good day. That is at least 3 times more expensive. So how can you compare the two? Plus, the speed of aeroplane cannot be compared with the speed of train. So they are not close substitutes at all. Sir, we have understood this, sir. Sir, we have indeed understood this, sir. So what did I tell you all? Students, what did I tell you all? So number one is single seller dominates the market. Number one is single seller dominates the market. And then there are no close substitutes for the product. And number two is there are no close substitutes for the product. That is, no one is even close to that. That is, no one is even close to that. No close substitute for the product. And single seller dominates the market. You have understood this, of course, 100%. Got it, sir. Now, students, what did I tell you all? Now, students, what is it? Students, now the next thing is high barriers to entry. What did I say? High barriers to entry. Sir, what does it mean? High barriers to entry. CSC has gotten the license for, electricity supply in Calcutta. If a rich individual wants to take the license, will it be that easy to obtain that license? So many court cases, so many licenses, and so much of fund requirements that you will file it better ki chalo, let's not do it. Maybe CSC has taken a patent. Maybe CSC has taken a copyright. Maybe CESC has taken a license from the government. That government for the next 100 years cannot grant it to anybody else. So what did I say? High barriers to entry. What did I say? High barriers to entry. High barriers to entry. Now, who is a price maker here? Of course, in monopoly, firm is equals to industry. Industry is generally comprised of several firms, but here there's only a single large producer, so firm equals to industry. So in monopoly, of course, it goes without saying, dear students, in monopoly, of course, it goes without saying, dear students, that the single firm itself is the price maker. The single firm itself is the price maker. So who decides price? Who is the price maker? The single firm sets the price. The single firm sets the price. And what kind of slope do you see? Students, what kind of slope do you see? Students, we witness a downward sloping demand curve. Let me do it for you again. Huh? We witness, students, a downward sloping demand curve. What do we witness? A downward sloping demand curve. Okay, sir. Because price and quantity are inversely related, so we get a downward sloping demand curve. Somewhat like this, a curve like this, a curve like this. So everyone, monopoly is a market which is characterized by single seller, which has no close substitute for the products. There are high barriers to entry. Who is the price maker? The firm itself is the price maker. And there is a downward sloping demand curve. Why? Because even the monopolist to sell more has to reduce the price. If the monopolist wants to sell more, monopolist has to reduce the price. For example, if Indian Railways want even the very low income groups to buy their products, then they will have to reduce the price. If Indian Railways wants to give premium service, they will increase the price. So even if you are a monopoly, to sell more, you will need to reduce the price. And therefore, this concept arises. Therefore, this concept arises. Understood or not? Understood or not, students? I am waiting. Then only I will move. Come on, everyone, I'm waiting. So Now, everyone, we discuss price discrimination. Students, price discrimination is very important. You know why? Because it's a unique feature of a monopoly market. It's a unique feature of a monopoly market. So it's very important that you understand this. Acha, who was the pioneer of this concept? Like there are different ways of price discrimination and everything. It was given by Arthur Cecil Pigot, AC Pigot. I think in 1920. I have forgotten the exact year, so I will not like to quote on the year, but I am reasonably sure. And AC Pigot, who AC Pigot, Arthur Cecil Pigot. He introduced the concept of price discrimination. Now, it is a unique feature of monopoly. So there is a very high chance that institute gives you in the exams. ठीक है? तो चलो, let's go ahead, everyone. Students, what is price discrimination? Price discrimination, student, is a feature of monopoly where the producer for the same product can charge different prices from different sellers. Where the producer for the same product from different consumers can charge different prices. Sir, ऐसा कैसे? Give a real example, sir. We don't believe you, sir. Okay. Let's say, students, there is a doctor in your locality who is a very well-known doctor, and he is the only, let's say, cardiologist in your locality. Now, students, you tell me something. If there is only one doctor in your locality, it can be so that if a poor patient who does not have enough money visits him or her, the doctor might charge maybe only 200 as the visiting fees. But to somebody who is rich, who is well known, the doctor may charge from the same person 5,000 for one visitation, or maybe 10,000 for one visitation. Can't the doctor do that? That is called price discrimination. For the same product, you're charging different prices from different sellers. For the same product, you're charging different prices from different sellers. That's called price discrimination. Now, students, if I talk about the degrees of price discrimination, there are 3 degrees of price discrimination, students. This is called first degree, second degree, and third degree. Who characterize this? AC Pigot only. So don't you worry. Who categorized it? AC Pigot only. So you don't need to worry, students. Okay, all is well. Now, everyone, what is first degree price discrimination? Here, students, each consumer is charged the maximum price they can pay, what they can afford to pay. So maximum price जो आप pay कर सकते हो, that will be charged from you. I give the doctor example ना. If the doctor sees that okay, he or she can pay 2,000, chalo charge them 2,000. He or she can pay 200, okay, charge them 200. He or she can pay 5,000, let's charge them 5,000. This is mainly possible in a service-oriented business, because in a service-oriented business, you see, there is no cost of production. For the doctor, there is no cost of production. The doctor is seeing. So they have zero cost of production, and therefore we call it first degree price discrimination. Then we have second degree price discrimination, where price varies with quantity. So for example, if somebody tells you that, okay, if you buy in bulk, if you buy in bulk, we are going to charge you lesser price. It happens na that for 2 jeans pant, you have to pay 10,000. But if you, let's say, buy 5 jeans, you pay only 14,000, something like this. Yes or no? Something like this. So when you buy in bulk, you get discount. That is again a price discrimination based on quantity. That is what we call second degree price discrimination. And then, students, ultimately you have the third degree price discrimination. Third degree price discrimination means, students, where the market is divided according to different geographies, and prices are charged according to the different geography or different segments. Not necessarily geography, it can be any segment. Sir, I will give you an example. Railways may charge some fees for normal people, some fees for handicapped, and some fees for old aged. See, market has been characterized into segments. Electricity, I told you CESC. Do you know CESC has different rates for industrial uses? That is that used by the factories. They are charged higher rates. CSC charges them at higher rates. Do you know CSC charges them at higher rates? And there can be a lesser price, for residential purposes. Industrial means, I mean, commercial as well, of course. Goes without saying, guys. So there is that, everybody. So there is that, everybody. Okay, sir. We do understand this, sir. We do understand this, sir. So that's third degree prior discrimination. Now, students, I will like to discuss with you, because I will not discuss monopolistic competition today. What I will like to discuss with you is again the shape of monopoly. Sir, you told us that it is a downward sloping demand curve, but then institute can ask you one level up. Institute tells you that okay, demand curve is downward sloping in a monopoly, but go ahead and tell us whether whether it is elastic or inelastic. Yes, demand is downward sloping, but honestly, it is inelastic demand, relatively inelastic demand. You know why? Because consumers have no other choice apart from buying from this seller only. So where will the consumer go? You see, consumer जाएगा कहाँ? आप मेरे को बताओ. Understood, sir. Sir, we have understood, sir. Sir, we have understood, sir. So, what I reflect on is, what I talk about now is the relatively inelastic demand component. Understood, dear students? Right, sir, we have understood that. We have understood the, sir, relatively inelastic demand component. Acha. In monopoly, students, there are certain barriers to entry. So institute may ask you which of the following is not a barrier. So if you know what are the barriers, you will be able to comment on which one is not a barrier. So barrier number one is, students, huge investment requirement. Like Geo entered the market. So sometimes the barrier can be huge fund requirement. Huge funds or investments needed to undertake something. Huge funds or investments needed to undertake something. That could be number one barrier. What could be number two barrier, sir? Students, barrier number two could be, let me tell you, barrier number two could be license. Government has given license to CSC. So nobody else can do it in Calcutta, the electric supply business. Patents and trademarks. There was a company called Xerox. It had patented its technology for 10 years or 20 years, I remember. It became so popular that now the company's name is called the process's name. That okay, we are doing Xerox copy. But Xerox company is closed. Barriers to entry. That is called what, students? That is called barriers to entry. Sir, we do understand this. So take us further through the discussion now. Okay, so first degree, second degree, third degree is gone and everything is done. Now, students, is a time for some MCQ solving. Okay, let's go ahead and solve some MCQs. Let's try and see. What will cause a movement along the demand curve? Let's see who answers first now. The quiz has started. Let's see who answers first now. Tech support. Tech support. Manish ji, tech support, please allow group chat so that students can write their answers in the group, right? Okay. Students, now the group chat has been opened. Students, what causes a movement along the demand curve? Tell me, everyone. I can see Radhika has answered. Dilpreet has answered. Bindya has answered. Tanya has answered. Ujjwal has answered. Akshit, Aisha, Khalid, all these students have answered. I can see Afshin has answered. Alfia, Kritika, all these people have answered. And the good news is everybody has answered it correctly. What causes movement? Movement is always due to own price of the commodity. Movement हमेशा own price से होता है. The income, yes, it can cause, but it is called shift or change in quantity, change in demand, sorry. Again, change in taste is a shift. Change in expectation is a shift. So my answer, what I stay with is change in price of goods is the correct answer, everyone. Moving on. In which market structure do firms have no control over the price of product? आज ही पढ़ाए हैं. So you cannot go wrong here. The first correct answer I received was from, I can see the first correct answer was from Kritika, followed by Radhika, and then Alfia, Mansi, Gagan. All right, then everyone. So students, in which market structure do firms have no control over the price of the product? So students, firms have no control over the price in perfect competition, because who decides the price? Another question. Let me make another question from here. Who decides the price then? If not firms in answer is perfect competition. But if not firms in perfect competition, then who? Then who? Who decides the price in perfect competition? Wow. Bindya answered correctly, followed by Mansi, followed by Ujjwal, followed by Alisha. So yes, who decides the price? And you are correct, students. Market. Market forces decide the price. I had explained it today. Which of the following is a characteristic of monopoly? Which of the following is a characteristic of a monopoly? Which of the following is a characteristic of a monopoly? So everyone, you all are correct when you say so. Students, the characteristic of monopoly is that in a monopoly market, there are not many sellers. Perfect competition, we could have said yes. Free entry and exit, perfect competition, yes. Monopoly, no. Homogeneous product, perfect competition, yes. Monopoly, no. But single seller, monopoly, yes. Perfect competition, no. So absolutely, I can clearly see you people are correctly answering. A good point. Let's go ahead, everyone. The king demand curve. Acha, students, I have not discussed it. So let's not solve it. Huh? Don't solve it. Okay. This also. Huh. Yes, you tell me this now. Question number 6. When demand increases and supply remains constant, what happens to equilibrium price? When demand increases and supply remains constant, what happens to equilibrium price? Tell me, everyone. I am waiting. People are writing, but I can wait for some time. Then I'll answer. See, demand, supply. Supply same, demand rises. So that creates what? Excess demand. Excess demand always leads to rise in price. Absolutely correct. We don't need a graph to solve it. Correct, sir. Understood, sir. Let's move on, everyone. Let's move on, everyone. Pay attention, students. In perfect competition, in the long run, firms earn what? In perfect competition, in the long run, firms earn what? In perfect competition, earn what? In short run, I had told you all, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Super normal, normal, losses. In short run, there can be anything possible. But yes, you all are correct. If you tell me that in the long run, absolutely, in the long run, firm earns only, in the long run, firm earns only normal profits. So C is the correct answer. हाँ, short run में तीनों possible है. Normal profits, losses, super normal profits, anything. Price rigidity. अच्छा, we will not discuss that now. हाँ, good question. Which curve shifts due to change in technology? A good question. Which curve shifts due to change in technology? Answer me. Right. So you all are correct, students. It is only the supply curve which shifts due to change in technology. So when there is a better technology, supply rises. But if there is a poor technology, supply falls. If there is a better technology, supply rises. If there is a poor technology, supply falls. That is it. Which of the following does not lead to shift in demand? Which of the following does not lead to shift in demand? Does not lead to shift in demand. Think carefully before answering. Now some wrong answers have come here. Maximum right, but some wrong. So students see, does not lead to shift in demand. See, the answer would be, see, in change in income, income rises, demand rises. Population rises, demand rises. Tastes improve, demand rises. But these are all shift. Does not lead to shift means leads to movement. Own price of the good leads to movement, not shift. Students, we have been able to cover our MCQs as well. Now is the time to open the house for final discussion by the students, for the doubts by the students. So all of you, till the discussion has taken place, you can ask your doubts, you can raise your hands, you can be allowed, you will be allowed to speak up. Raise your hands, everyone who wants to clarify their doubts. Please raise your hands. The time starts now. We will allow the students to unmute. We will allow the students to raise their concern and we will address that. Raise your hand, students. The time has started. I'm waiting for 1 minute, 2 minutes. Come on, everyone. I see everybody's clear with their concepts or what? Let's wait for 2 or 3 minutes for the students to raise their hands. Students, you can ask your questions. Come on. Okay, tech support, they will be able to raise their hands, right? There is no restriction as such, right? Okay, okay. Let's see if somebody has doubt, they can raise their hands. Good to see that everybody has their doubts cleared. Very good. So students, if that is the scenario, then I can very well proceed further and talk further. Okay. So remember students, one interesting concept. Now let's move in. Let's now move in to the concept of monopolistic competition, because there are no doubts. So we can, utilize the time productively. See, students, before monopolistic competition, let me tell you why this name. And does that exist in reality? Yes. You can say any shoes or FMCG, shoes, any fast moving consumer goods, which many producers produce. That is a monopolistic competition, which many produce. I'll give you an example. You can take any example. Huh? Most of them will suffice here. Soap, detergents, shampoo, anything, biscuits, कुछ भी सोच लो आप. You know why is it named so? Let me take the example of shoes and elaborate my point. See, there are different manufacturers and sellers of shoes. You have your Bata. There is something called Khadims. There is something called Puma, Nike. Then you have your Benetton, right? And so Adidas and so on, Woodland, so many. Now, what I'm trying to say is that yes, there are many sellers, but there is a brand loyalty enjoyed by each brand. For example, just for example, let's say if I buy Bata shoes only, suppose I buy Bata shoes only, so I will continue doing that. अगर मैं बाटा के शूज खरीदता हूं, मैं वही करते चलूंगा, right? I will continue doing that. If I'm buying Bata shoes, I'll continue doing that. So Bata has a kind of monopoly in the form of customer loyalty. But Bata has to compete with other brands like Nike, Puma, Adidas, and all these who enjoy similar loyalty. So, yes, there is monopoly of the brand in terms of the customer loyalty that the brand enjoys. But the brand has to compete with other brands having similar monopoly. Hence the name. Hence the name. Monopolistic competition. Hence the name. Monopolistic competition. Everyone, hence the name monopolistic competition. So yes, there are many sellers, but the products are differentiated. Firms have some control over the price. Advertising and branding are common. Yes, everyone tries to show their products are differentiated. Let's say Bata is going to show that its shoes are of better quality. Nike will say that, okay, footballers are wearing their shoes. Puma will come with a proposition that, okay, Virat Kohli is associated with us. Basically, yes, the products are very close substitutes of each other. At the end, all of them are selling shoes only. But they are going to show something better about themselves. Maybe a celebrity associated with them. Maybe the color, maybe the quantity. Anything can be their USP, but everybody will try to differentiate their product from somebody. Somebody may say that, okay, we come with a 3 years warranty. Nobody is giving 3 years warranty. So anything happens to your shoes within 3 years, no questions asked, we will replace you and give you a new shoe. We will replace the shoe and give you a new shoe. So that's an attractive opportunity, right? That is what I'm trying to tell you, everyone. That is what I'm trying to tell you, everyone. Plus, there is free entry and exit in the long run. So anyone can enter the market, anybody can exit the market. In short run, all three are possible. Abnormal profits, losses, normal profits, anything is possible. But again, much like perfect competition, long run, you only witness normal profits. Acha. Here, also the demand curve, if you want, you can draw it with me, you can write it with me. In monopolistic competition, the demand curve is again downward sloping, because even if they want to sell further, even if they want to sell further, they will have to reduce the price. They will have to reduce the price. और बेचने के लिए उन्हें prices को reduce करना पड़ेगा. To sell more, they have to reduce the prices. But the thing is, yes, that is correct that they have to sell more. But here we will see that the demand curve will be elastic. In monopoly, don't compare it with monopoly, because in monopoly, the kind of demand curve you had was inelastic in nature. Here, at least your demand curve is of elastic nature. Sir, you are correct. So if you witness it carefully, students, I will draw the diagram for you. Yes, it's downward sloping, but it would be elastic. It would be elastic. So small changes in price will lead to larger changes in demand. So the curve will be flatter, because elastic curve is flatter. Elastic curve is flatter. So you have got your correct answer here, everybody. You've got your correct answer here, everyone. Elastic curve is flatter. Yes or no, students? Right, sir. Sir, we have understood this, sir. You please go ahead, sir. Okay. So students, now the next thing is we are discussing oligopoly market. Now, what is interesting about oligopoly is, students, what is interesting about oligopoly is that only there are few large firms here who dominate the industry. Few large firms. Do you want to know the example? Of course, sir. Uh, Aircraft manufacture, if I talk about, then you have your Airbus and this one, Boeing. Mainly, China and Russia have their own, but primarily. Acha, if you talk about this, not the aircraft, cold drinks, soft drinks, as I mean, you will see primarily you have Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Yes, now Campa Cola Reliance is trying to enter, but I'm talking primarily. Right, sir. So everyone, there are few firms which are large and who dominate the industry. And firms are interdependent in pricing decisions. So everyone is seeing what their competition is doing. Everybody is seeing what their competition is charging. Everybody has their eyes on the competition. सबका आंख कहां पर है? अपनी competition पर. Everybody has their eyes on the competition. So there are few large firms who dominate the industry, and firms are interdependent in pricing decisions. So everybody is looking into what the other person is charging. Everybody is looking into what the other person is charging. So firms are interdependent in pricing decisions. As I have told you, few firms dominate the industry. Interdependent means, for example, I told you last day, Pepsi. Pepsi brings in 2-liter cold drink bottles. Now, when Pepsi brings in 2-liter cold drink bottles, Coca-Cola will do the same. Coca-Cola will also bring 2-liter cold drink bottles. So that's an example. So everyone, that's an example. Next is products may be homogeneous or differentiated. Means what, sir? Means product may be exactly the same, or the product may be slightly different from each other. Products might be exactly the same, or they might slightly be different from each other, is what I'm saying, everyone. So that is written, na? Product may be homogeneous or differentiated. Homogeneous or differentiated. Homogeneous means, of course, exactly same. Differentiated means slightly varies. Differentiated means they can slightly vary. Sir, how is it possible? Let's say steel. Steel Authority of India Limited also works and makes steel. Jindal Steel also makes steel. So is it any different? Steel composition is same. This percent iron, this percent this percent that. So how can steel be different? So the products can be homogeneous. But yes, in products like the Airbus and the this one, Boeing, their technology is different. So yes, the products can be different as well. So the products can be homogeneous or the products can be differentiated. That is what I said. The products can be homogeneous or it can be differentiated. Right? Sir, do barriers to entry exist? Yes, students, some barriers to entry exist, much like you witnessed in the case of what? Tell me. Much like you witnessed in the case of, yes, monopoly. Much like you witnessed in the case of monopoly. Are there barriers to entry? Yes. Like, you know, there might be huge fund requirements. There might be some patents that might restrict anybody else's entry. And here there is price rigidity. Oligopoly has an indeterminate demand curve. Indeterminate demand curve. Demand curve cannot be determined. So I will draw for you, but it is called indeterminate curve. Now, students, we discuss the types of oligopoly. Number one, we have students, pure oligopoly. Pure oligopoly is the one that sells exactly the same product. Yes, there are different sellers, but ultimate product being sold is the same. But the ultimate product being sold is the same. Exactly same. Like in cement and steel, we have products are exactly the same. Homogeneity, as I said. Homogeneity, as I said. Right, students? So pure oligopoly has homogeneous products. So everyone, pure oligopoly has homogeneous products. Differentiated oligopoly has differentiated products. Differentiated oligopoly has differentiated products. Students, I will repeat it for you. No worries. Pure oligopoly has homogeneous products. Differentiated oligopoly has differentiated products. When I say differentiated products, I mean the products are slightly different from each other. The sellers and the buyers products are different from each other. That is what I mean when I say the products are differentiated. Example, automobiles. I give you the example of aircrafts. Products are slightly different from each other. In pure oligopoly, products are exactly the same. Then there is an interesting one, students. You have collusive oligopoly. You know, firms basically cooperate. Like in oil sellers, OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So it includes the Middle Eastern countries like Kuwait, Iraq, and all these. They come together and they don't sell individually. They decide the price together. United we stand, divided we fall. So they come together to bargain and they act like a monopoly as if there is only one seller. But they have come together and they are colluding. Non-collusive means when the firms compete aggressively, they are not coming together with each other. You see in telecom sector, how Jio, when it launched, it gave internet, telephone, everything for free. That is non-collusive oligopoly. Everyone, that is what? Non-collusive oligopoly. That is called non-collusive oligopoly, everyone. Sir, we did understand this, sir. Then students, we will discuss two more types of oligopoly before we wind up today. Students, one you have syndicated, one you have organized oligopoly. What is syndicated oligopoly? Basically, all the firms now they appoint a common selling agency and then through that agency they sell. So firms sell their product to the agency, agency sells the product. But in organized, it is nothing but a cartel. Firms form a cartel and sell. Okay. Here Only sales are centralized. What does it mean, sir? Means each firm has their own different production unit. They're producing differently using different technology, and they're selling it through a common selling agency. But in organized, output and sales are coordinated. They are coordinating who will manufacture how much, and then they are selling through that agency. Decision making. So individual firm decide how much they want to produce. But in organized oligopoly, decision has been made that firm A will produce 1,000 units, firm B will produce 2,000 units. All these decisions have been made. So here level of coming together is less because they are only marketing is centralized here. That is only selling is done together. Here they are only selling together, students. But students, here there is a full cooperation among firms. There is a tight cooperation among firms, students. Okay. So OPEC can be an example of organized oligopoly, and sugar mills selling through a common seller is an example of a syndicated oligopoly, as you see. Students, now what is the shape here? Kinked demand curve in oligopoly. Do you want to see it? Have a look. This was found out by Paul Sweezy. So who gave the concept of kinked demand curve in oligopoly? Paul Sweezy. See, this is the price, and student, this is the quantity. Okay. If a single firm raises the price, other firms will not raise the price. So the quantity demanded for the product of this firm will fall by a large quantity. जोर से गिरेगा because others did not replicate it. But if a firm reduces the price, other firms are going to replicate it. So maybe the demand for the product increases by a very small quantity because other firms have replicated. So you see there is a kink here. That is why the name is kinked demand curve or indeterminate demand curve. Students, were you able to understand this? Yes or no, everyone? Now I can very well come into the MCQ here and discuss that remaining question also. One or two was remaining. See, king demand curve is associated with much market structure. Everybody come back to the chat box and tell me it is associated with which? In the chat box, everyone. King demand curve is in which market structure now? All of you know this now. Absolutely. Sir, king demand is seen in case of oligopoly. In perfect, you have horizontal. In monopoly and monopolistic competition, you have downward. Which market features product differentiation? That is, they are trying to show their products are different. Monopolistic competition. They incur heavy expenses on advertising. That is called selling cost. So students, we wind up the day here. See you all in the next class. That's it. Goodbye everyone for the day. Tech support, we can wind up the class. Yes.